It also, for me, had a point of reflection where, for the most part, individuals that are going to be gaining from all these gains are the people that have the knowledge of these investments, right? And I really want to share a point here today where earlier today I sometimes I jump on and I have other channels that I watch regarding finances, and I really wanted to make an emphasis in my other videos that I've said before. Hey, we're back, and I wanted you to share today what's going on in the markets, right? Everything is going crazy. The stock market is in a rally. Bitcoin is insane. Real estate prices are insane. All these things are just skyrocketing, right? And if you're somebody that doesn't follow the market, that maybe doesn't really care for it, that's fine. But you just can't help but notice all this news, all this mainstream media, everything is just coming out from all these different media outlets, and I think it's a good thing, right? Obviously, it shows that everything is growing and things are growing, right? But it also, for me, had a point of reflection where, for the most part, individuals that are going to be gaining from all these gains are the people that have the knowledge of these investments, right? And I really want to share a point here today where earlier today I sometimes I jump on and I have other channels that I watch regarding finances, and I really wanted to make an emphasis in my other videos that I've said before, the importance of educating yourself on financial literacy, right? And learning about investing. And if you grow up like myself in a minority community where with parents that never really gave you the information or the knowledge or even practiced investing, it's hard for you to kind of understand it growing up and actually taking action on those steps, right? And watching these markets and watching how so many people are making so much money and things are just growing at a fast pace, really gets me thinking about the individuals that actually gain from this. Majority of the individuals gaining from this are the ones that are already wealthy, right? The ones that have access to information, the ones that have the knowledge, or the parents that were investing and gave them those skills and gave them the knowledge, and the ones that were able to have the wealth to start investing, right? And how, for the most part, our groups were the minority groups, obviously Latinos and blacks, and any other minority groups that I can say here, we're left out because we're never really taught the benefits or the long-term effects of investing. And when I'm talking about investing, I'm talking about day trading. I'm not talking about picking stocks and learning which one is good, which one is bad. I'm talking about just investing for the long term. And as I say in my videos here, my whole concept is buying for the long term, right? And I always heard a lot of other investment strategists and investment gurus. The big ones, obviously, Warren Buffett, right? Even the Ray Dalios, those individuals that are like mega investment icons that are looked after, sought after. They all say the same thing, kind of like the markets are the markets, right? They're going to go up and they're going to go down. Right now, we're in a market where everything's going up, and those that are in it are going to be compensated for it, and when it goes back down, those that sell will probably lose, and the ones that do come in will start over. It's a cycle. It's all cycles, right? But the whole point of this message, obviously, we know the markets. If you don't know what stock market is, you probably wouldn't be watching this channel or watching this video. But we often hear about it, and I'm just really concerned in the sense that, yes, we live in a new age, new era, new information. Thank God for the whole internet that everybody's getting aware, and my daughter's a Gen Zer, and she's aware of it. Millennials like myself, we're all a lot more aware of the options we have and the opportunities. And the whole thing I would say right now for myself is that the ones that are missing out on this bull run and all this all the high markets that everything's going insane right now are the ones that are not educated, right? The ones that haven't been able to be part of the game. It's all a game, right? So it's not about being, not for me feeling a FOMO of fear of missing out, because at the end of the day, everything repeats itself. But it's just that I think the knowledge, really, that we might or might not have, really does correlate in our lives with our investing health and wealth, and how individuals say that wealth, is not, it's not a disparity between minorities and whatnot. And I beg to differ, because I feel like in the minorities communities, we don't have the knowledge or the other mentors or whereabouts of researching or finding out about investing. And anything. I'm not talking about just stocks. I'm not about real estate. I'm talking about Bitcoin. I'm talking about anything you can invest in, anything you can buy that you can hold and you can swap for a much more higher price. And the reason why I want to make this video is to kind of get an awareness for all of us that, we have to kind of, we owe it to our families, we owe it to our generations to educate ourselves. And even if investing doesn't have to be a complicated game. It's not about having to make a six-figure income to be able to put away money for investing. It's so many options out there for us. We have ETFs, right? We have index funds that are a lot more affordable, lower minimums. You can start buying ETFs with as low as 60, 70 bucks, depending on the ETF you're buying, $100. Obviously, the more sought out, the more higher the price per share. But you can start slowly but surely, open up your Roth IRAs, investing into your 401ks if you do have. It's just the fact that we are kind of not taking action, and then when it's not about missing the timing the market or whatnot, but it's just being part of the game, and being able to, whether it goes up, whether it goes down, obviously it's all part of the system, but just being in the game and being in the system that we're in, right? We all go to work, we all work for money, we all have to pay our bills, we all have to pay our rent, pay whatever we got to pay. So there will never be, and this I heard it from apparently he's out money guru as well, finance guru. He called himself the Wall Street Trapper, and I heard him today in the Breakfast Club, and he was talking about how you will never be able to get that financial freedom to the extent until you learn how to have money work for you. And that was a great idea, like a great concept, because even Warren Buffett says, like, if there's only so many hours a day you can work, and you will never be able to outwork your money. Once you get your money to work for you, you'll come to a point in your life where money will be producing for you, maybe even better or more than you're able to work physically, right? And that's kind of that moment when you realize that, hey, I am financially independent. I'm able to not work today if I don't want to. I'm able to sit back for a year. I'm able to retire early, whatever it may be. Whatever your goal is, everybody's goal is different, right? So I can't sit here and say what your goal is, but it's just, for me, the emotions and I get, and the happiness that I get. How about, there's this stigma that you need to have money, you need to be wealthy, you need to be have the right connections and know people to get these stock picks and get investments and become part of that society, as I say it, or I would say my investing society. But all you have to do is pick up a book. All you have to do is watch some YouTube videos here. You have to follow the investment individuals that invest a lot on here. Read some of the books that are out there, right? I would recommend right now, pick up, if you had any recommendations right now, would be Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And then for me, my second book right off the bat, as I'm finishing it up, Money Masters the Game by Tony Robbins. These are the two books that I would recommend right now, today, off the spot, that will kind of change the way you look at investing and why you're investing, right? There's always a reason for it. Everybody has their own goals, their own reasons. And being from minority groups and minority communities, I know how hard it is. I've seen my dad, my family members, that they work 2-3 jobs and still were always just struggling, getting by, for years and years on out, right? And we all know that hard work alone is not going to get you to your financial freedom. We know that hard work alone will get you great, will move you over your work ethic great. But hard work alone does not just magically appear 30 years later and you're trying to be financial independent. You have to kind of start learning how to put that money to work for you while you're working. You know, have that money work for you while you're working and doing your thing. And again, today with all these type of tools and strategies and different ways to invest, right? We have so many applications, so many brokerage accounts, so many banks that you can put in a passively managed account and let it grow for the long term. And as you see in my other videos, there's numbers on, you know, how many you want to put away, or how much money you want to put away every single month, and you can kind of determine on certain websites how much, according to the average return, how much you will have in a certain amount of years, whether it be 10, 15, 20 years, and you'll be surprised how compound interest magnifies your savings. And let me just stop that real quick. It doesn't mean that we're going to invest without having our savings. We want to have our own account savings liquid just for an emergency, before we start putting money into Bitcoin, before we start putting money into the stock market, before we start putting money into NFTs or whatever it is that you're interested in, because we all have different passions and avenues of it and beliefs, right? But it's just that for yourself, if you're like myself, you're Latino, you're Black, you're Asian, you're whatever minority you might be associating yourself with or you're born into, because obviously we don't choose this, educating yourself, because at the end of the day, we know that the outside world does not care about what everybody's doing. It's going to do what's going to do. The market's going to do what they're going to do. It doesn't matter what's going on. It doesn't matter what's happening in your communities. Nobody's going to go there to save you. And it's all about self-education. Unfortunately, for me, I learned it the hard way. Schooling itself is great. You're going to go to school. You're going to have your degrees. You're going to get your business majors, whatever it is. But education doesn't stop there. You got to keep on learning. You got to keep on being curious and learning about things and asking questions. Asking the questions, how does that happen? How does that person do that? What did they do? How do they do it? How does this become? How can you're driving a car? A perfect example, I always try to figure out, I'm not a mechanic, but I always like to know what my car does, certain parts, what are the failures, what was fixed, what needed to be fixed, what are the functions of the car itself and each part. But doesn't mean I have to be a mechanic. Same thing goes with anything you do in life. When everything you're functioning, I might be using this camera. I like to play around with it, look at the menu, see what it does, and just learn it. But doesn't mean that I have to be an expert at it. And I think the same way you can apply that to investing. You don't have to be an expert in it. Learn the basics. Start with your basic knowledge, and you become obviously a lot better as you go, because you start learning. And also know that it's all about also what point in your life you're in, right? And then your risk you're ready to take. There's a risk in anything. You might even lose money. You're not always guaranteed to win money. So, not a financial advice here, but educate yourself. And we got to start becoming a little bit more of a researcher, right? A learner with other topics in life than just thinking that everything is the way it is and you can't really do anything about it. And then that goes to anything in life. There's a book for anything out there you want to learn. I learned that the hard way, because now my bookshelf is filled with books. When I have questions, I just look it up and I buy the book and I read it. Some books are good, some books are mediocre, but at the end of the day, at least you're getting some type of exposure. And if right now you look at the markets, you're like, man, I can't believe the individuals that are making this money are the wealthy and I'm not able to jump in. It's a lie. You can be in it today. You can jump on it with at least $100. You can buy a portion of a stock. You can buy a portion of an index fund, and you don't have to have a massive amount of money. So do your research. Go in there. Follow it. Understand it, and start building your future wealth, because it's the market's going to do what they're going to do. Life is going to go on, and it's up to us to take action and do our habits, right? Nothing's going to change until we change, right? You heard that a lot of times, and that is where we have to start educating ourselves. So I hope the best success, and I hope that we are on this journey together, and I hope that today you go and start educating yourselves. So I'll see you in the next video. Peace.